Hello, everyone, and welcome to Everyday Us. My name is Mariah.
And I am Ian.
And Chickpea is having her dinner. So maybe she'll come by a little bit later. We'll see. If you joined us last week, we spoke with Francesca Weir, LCSW, and she gave us a live couples therapy. And it was our first session. So if you have never done couples therapy before, I highly suggest that you go back, listen to that episode with your partner, and take some notes. It was really great to go over a few exercises with her, and I'm glad that we did it. And I can't wait for our next session with our own therapist.
Yeah, that was definitely a good time. That was a nice little special with our first ever guest, and yeah, can't wait to have another one.
Exactly. I'm so glad we had our first guest. Like, wow. Can't wait. More guests to come. But today we are talking about something that is really special to me, and that is celebrating your loved one's birthday. I love birthdays. I'm a huge birthday girl. I am a Pisces. This is actually my birthday week. And typically younger Mariah would already be celebrating. But, you know, with age, I'm like toning it down a little bit. So my birthday is on February 21st. As I mentioned, I am a Pisces. I love love. I love being around people. I love celebrating my birthday. And I just can't wait for this weekend.
So exciting. And on that topic, have you ever wondered how to make your significant other's birthday feel extra special? Well, that's what we're going to get into. And speaking of which, seeing as it's someone's favorite thing to do, let's discuss that. So tell us, what do you believe is the most vital part in a relationship when it comes to celebrations?
Well, knowing your partner. The way how you celebrate your partner shows how you love them. And you should know how your partner loves to be celebrated, whether that's publicly or just the two of you. Birthdays mean a lot of things for different people. As we all know, I love birthdays, but there are some people who honestly could care less about their birthdays.
Shy.
Right.
Yeah.
But I figure, or I'm learning, more people who do not like their birthdays, it's usually because people didn't know how to celebrate their birthdays, and it was always a disappointment. And so now they probably don't put too much thought about it because they don't want to be disappointed, especially on your big day. You'd rather just let it be calm, cool, and collected. So definitely knowing how your partner wants to be celebrated is number one. And also how you show up for them shows your appreciation for them. It shows if you're listening to them and how well you guys are communicating. And it also helps strengthen your emotional bond. Being with your partner and knowing how to show up for them means so much. And it can be giving them little gifts. It can be taking them someplace. That all ties into knowing their love language. But yeah, I feel like how you celebrate their birthday or their special day, maybe if they get a promotion or anything like that, it's a reflection on how you see your partner.
No, that's extremely true. And tying to that point, you also have to think about, like budgeting and everything. And, like all the planning as well. And am I going overboard? And, like you want to do something that's just right. And especially the early days when you're in a relationship, it's kind of like the ultimate test. Like, what do I do for his or her birthday, the first birthday together? Do I go overboard? Do I call all cars with the celebration, or just keep it more personal?
Yeah. So what, can you remember one of our first birthdays that we celebrated together?
Yeah, of course. I think your first birthday, and this is what you were saying with the love languages from our last episode. Tune in for that one. But just understanding what speaks to you, what you love the most, what really triggers your heart. And I remember your first birthday, you were telling me how you were going to Sojo, a big spa with a bunch of your girlfriends. And I remember at dinner just surprising you with that Sojo gift card, being like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
here
I
you
love
go.
that. Such a
And
huge smile on my face when I opened
she
that.
teared up. She teared up at the dinner. And
It was just
I
so
almost teared up. It was so
thoughtful.
beautiful.
Yeah. I just loved it because, again, you know that my love language is acts of service. And you just planning ahead, knowing that I was already going to the spa. So for you, having my ticket already paid and paying for a massage for me to get while I was there, it was just great. It was nice to experience it with my friends. And you didn't join us. You were like, you are doing this with your girlfriends.
I thought about it.
Here is something for you and your girls to do. So if you're planning something for your partner, you don't have to be there. You can surprise them with a trip for their girlfriends or just one of their best friends. Just knowing what your partner would really love. I remember seeing, I think, a reel on Instagram, and a husband got his wife a ticket. So the first thing was a ticket, and I can't remember where. I'm going to say Italy. And she was so excited to get the ticket. And then he gives her another ticket, and she's like, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, like we're going together for the ticket. And then all of a sudden, her friend taps her,
Oh,
and
I
she
think I
turns
saw this.
around, and it's her best friend, and she's like, yeah, no, we're going together. And she flipped out knowing that she was going on vacation with her best friend. And a lot of people were like, oh, why wasn't she happy about going with her husband? Or why is she so excited to go with her friend? And listen, people have different ways of celebrating. I love my man more than anything, but get me to go on a vacation with my best friend, it's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. Like, that would be insane. I love you, baby, but I just know going on vacation with my best friend would be wild.
Well, now I know what to do next time.
Exactly.
There it is. Simple.
Taking your notes. Um, but yeah, so you can be spontaneous. You can be there with your partner. You don't have to be there with your partner, but there are multiple ways to celebrate them and try to think out the box.
Yeah. Understanding the love language.
Yeah.
Boom.
So as we continue to say, love language, knowing that and understanding it really goes hand in hand on celebrating your partner. So I believe it's probably like our fifth or sixth episode where we mention the different love languages, but we'll review it right now. So the different love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and physical touch. So take that test with your partner, figure out what each of your love languages are, and then you can move forward with how to show up with celebrating them, and not even celebrating them, how to show up in just everyday life. Whether they want flowers or whether they want you to do the dishes or whether it's filling up their car with gas, just learning things, or maybe they want to kiss before bed every night.
Always.
Knowing their love language will save you so much, the heartaches, the everything. So definitely take that test, figure that out, and then you can go back into planning your celebration for your loved one.
There it is. And with that, of course, yeah, like I said earlier, like with the budgeting, with the planning, just knowing when and where to focus, I guess, the celebration, and just going over the top, or, maybe doing it like destination, being on vacation, celebrating there instead of just doing something at home. Like that was one thing we talked about this year, just taking a trip for my birthday. For the past few years, we've been with family year after year. So this year it was something we thought about. And of course we took a look at the budgeting and everything, and it was in our favor. So we're like, let's do that. Let's take off. But Obviously, other times you really have to look into that. It's like, okay, do we take off? Do we go camping? Do we just stay home, make a homemade meal? So lots to consider, especially depending on how far you are along in the relationship. That's
Yeah,
also the big
oh,
one.
that's
Like
true.
when early on together, I did not want to go over the top too soon with you.
Right.
Like it was definitely a thought. I definitely wanted to, but like I'm like, okay, let me understand her love languages, what works for her, and then gradually make my way there. And
Right.
yeah, so definitely budget, planning, looking at all the resources.
And
Just
giving
think about
yourself
that. Yeah.
time.
And giving yourself time.
Don't wait until the month of their birthday to start planning. Definitely think about what you want to do, whether it's a big thing or something small. And knowing, does your partner want to have a large celebration, or do they want to have something with just a smaller group or just the two of you? And right now, I think would be a great time to just have a date night with your partner and come up with a list. Come up with a list of friends. You're going to have two different lists. A list for a big celebration, like say we're going to have a happy hour or an open bar somewhere, invite all my friends. Here are the list of people who I want. And then you're going to have another list for intimate, I would say 10 people or less, or 8, or like small, intimate, a little like a dinner at a restaurant or at someone's home. You're thinking, small group. Who do you want to be there?
Who are
Have a
the
list for
go-to
that.
people,
Have a list
basically.
for your
Yeah.
smaller group. Have a list for your big group, and update that list. If you're coming home and you're like, listen, and I'm just making this up, Brittany and I, we are not friends anymore. Take that girl off of every list that you have, big or small. I don't want to see her there. So that when you do plan a party for your partner, you're not having your high school friend who you have not seen in years show up, and now you're awkwardly playing catch up at your birthday party.
It's not a bad thing at the same time.
Maybe if you're at a bigger gathering, so like
true.
if you're at that happy hour, yeah, sure, like quickly you can catch up. But it's really awkward when there's only 10 or less and you have someone who you have not seen in years show up and you're like, ooh, yikes, whoa.
Yeah.
So
And that's a reminder too. For the planning phase, it definitely helps to maybe go through like a sibling of the significant other or like the best friend of a significant other, just so you're reaching out to the right people, you're inviting the right people.
right.
And
But
it always
that's what
helps to
I'm
have
saying,
that
to even
second
avoid
person.
that, to avoid having to go to someone, because I can say like, oh, I know this person talks to this person, but like, how do I know if they're really that close? So to just avoid that right now, before you're even thinking about each other's birthdays, so you don't have to ruin any surprise, think of a list. Here's a list of people who I want if you're going to throw a big thing. Here's a list of people who I would love you to consider if you're going to throw something small. So whenever, whether it's this year, next year, 5 years from now, you have that list and you guys can always update the list. It can be like a notes in your phone, so that it's just like constantly updating. You don't have to like resend it to him. Just do like a collaboration on notes in your cell phone, and then so you don't have to guess on who can be there, who can't, and so that you're not forgetting to invite someone also.
Very
So
true.
you're not like, oh, how come you didn't invite this person, or how come you didn't invite that person? So plan, think ahead, and know your budget.
Know your budget. Yeah. This is all helpful for the wedding. For the wedding
Oh, that's
stage as
true.
well.
Yeah,
so
this
this
could
all
also
leads
go.
into that. So definitely
Yeah, you can get a
good
jump
start
start
on this now.
on your wedding list if you're not married already. Or
I'm sure half the people listening are thinking right now, this is all wedding planning. You're putting together a
Exactly.
wedding list.
And then, so thinking of with that list, when you're ready to plan a surprise party or whatever, you already have that list in your back pocket and you can start hitting up their friends so that you can plan. If you're planning a surprise party, make sure you do it in advance. And I don't know. I think I would suggest if you're doing a surprise, maybe stick to like a party or something like smaller as a surprise. I wouldn't do a surprise getaway unless it's just the
Oh,
two
no,
of
no,
you.
no, no, no.
You know, if it's just the two of you, maybe. But when you do a surprise getaway with friends and everything, it gets a little more complicated. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it gets complicated.
Well, yeah, because then it's a timing thing, and if you're gonna try to
Right.
surprise her all at once, everybody needs to be getting there at the same time. But then there's layovers, flight cancellations, this and that, and then that's just a pain in the butt.
And
Yeah.
then that's when it goes with your intimate group or your extravagant group. So you'll have to figure that out. But I did throw you a surprise party, and
You
I
did?
think it was successful. Like, did you know about it or no?
No, no,
Are you sure?
that was when we first moved into this apartment.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah,
It
yeah.
was, I think, your
It
30th
was my
birthday.
30th. Yeah, I believe it was.
And I threw a surprise party for you at Hibachi, at a Hibachi restaurant. And honestly, planning your surprise party was the easiest and simplest thing in the world.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, I think almost every single one of your friends said yes, like
Yeah.
without a doubt. And they were all there with their partners. And to be honest, I think I only planned it within like the month. And normally I did not take my advice. Definitely plan it earlier. Don't wait until last minute. But within that month, I'm still shocked that all of your friends said yes. And I think I just told you that you and I were just getting dinner. I think you wanted to do something with friends, and I said, let's plan that for another day. Let's just you and I do something. Like, we're always with your family. And so we walk into the restaurant, and we had our own little like room, our little
No, I
section
remember,
to
yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And I walk in, and then you walked in. Did you notice anyone, or like, what was
Yeah.
it
Oh
like?
my god, I'm like trying to remember this now. But yeah, I think I just walked right in. Didn't really think anything of it. Like, oh, like that was also the first time getting hibachi with you. I think in
Oh,
a
yeah,
while.
that's
I
true.
can't even recall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was kind of just walking in, just taking in the place, and then we walk in there, and then I noticed one friend, noticed another friend. And I'm like, oh wait a minute, like then I had the huge smile come over me, and I remember like turning around, doing like a full 360, like what? Oh, you got me. And then
Yeah.
everybody clapped, and then
That was great.
that was fantastic. Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was very well done. You invited the right people, all local too. So
Yeah.
that was nice. Very simple for everybody to get there. Well done.
Quick,
Very,
simple.
very well done.
I absolutely, yeah, that was a great birthday. And I don't know if I've been able to top it since. Because
that was fantastic.
normally we're with family because your birthday it's always on like Memorial Day weekend.
Yes. Yes.
You're a Gemini, and we're typically always just up by your mom and at the pool and hanging out with family, and it's always a great time. But I do feel bad that we're just always with family, which is
Always.
again
Which
not
is
a
why
bad time
we
because
had to break
family's
that
always
routine
great.
for the first time this year. And it
Yeah.
feels weird not being with family Memorial Day, but you know, it has to happen. You know,
Yeah,
there has to
and
be
then
some
you were robbed
change
from your
every
birthday
once in a while.
last year because
Yeah.
of the wedding. Well, no, we went to
Not
Liberty
necessarily.
Park.
No, yeah, we went to Liberty. That was still a great time.
We had a barbecue in the park,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
but
That was everything.
yeah, that was great. And then the next day, we had to
Pack
get on a
up
plane and
fly to Portugal. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, there she is. Look
I
at her.
know. I don't know if I can get her. Let's see.
Oh, be careful. Be careful.
She is in the room, guys.
Oh.
Say hi, Chickpea. We do not know when Chickpea's birthday is because she is a stray.
We're
But-
guessing she's 8 or 9, 10, something. I don't know. We'll say 10.
We don't know. Our girl,
She's got some gray. She has some little gray hairs.
Chickpea, do you want to say hello? No? She's playing mute today, but if you're watching, she's on air. Can you say one thing? Can you say happy birthday? Okay.
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
beautiful.
That's what you got.
That's beautiful. Oh, just for her papa.
I know.
But as an adult, that was definitely the best surprise birthday I've ever had.
Yeah. Did you have a surprise birthday growing up?
Growing up, I had one surprise birthday that I can recall, and it was man, was I surprised. I think I was a freshman in high school, and all of my friends surprised me and took me out for paintball.
Oh, that's
First
fun.
time ever paintballing. This is Yoni, my buddy
Uh-huh.
in Israel. Yoni, what's up? Yeah, they picked me up, and it was a bunch of my friends from the neighborhood, half my hockey team as well, which
Oh,
really surprised me.
that's
And
fun.
yeah, we just got in this big shuttle bus and all went to play paintball for like half a day, and that was wow. Yeah, that was fantastic.
I love that. I, growing up, I remember my mom threw me, I think it was my 11th birthday. She threw me a party at a restaurant that we rented out. And a lot of people RSVP'd, and the day of, people dropped. And my mom was so upset because she spent so much money for people to not show up. I mean, I still had a decent amount of people there, but like she rented the entire place out. And ever since then, she was like, that is it. I'm never doing this again. And I never had like a large party after that. I didn't have a sweet 16, nothing. And I don't blame her because, you know, it's a lot of money, a lot that goes involved. And that's why I feel like even when we have kids, especially like their first, second, third, like little birthdays, it's gonna be small. I say this now until I have this child, and
No,
then
she
it's
says
gonna
that
be
now.
like
We're gonna be getting the bounce castle in the backyard and
it's gonna be
everything.
this
Just
whole rent out Disney type thing. Just kidding, I don't have that money.
like a
But
mini circus and everything.
Mindy, why is you there, girl? It's a lot. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of planning. So I feel like it'll be small, whatever we do for our kids, just something tiny until they get older to have a larger party.
Yeah. But it
But
does make you respect the time that parents put into
yeah.
these birthdays growing up as a kid. And you remember Discovery Zone? And
Oh,
places like that?
yes.
I used to have my birthday party
I
there
love
all the
that.
time. And I remember one birthday party that my mom threw. That was a surprise. That was a good time. And she misread a few of my classmates, I guess their names, and assumed that they were boys. And like three of them that showed up, there were women. And I remember being so thrown off that there were girls at my birthday party and being like, Mom, like, can you tell them to go? Like, I only want the guys here. Like, why are they here? And of course, they stayed the whole time, had pizza. They, other than talking to my mom and other moms, they kind of just were bored. But like, just doing the best she could for us.
Yeah.
And, oh, it was so a great time. But
Oh, I definitely want to celebrate my kid's birthday when they are in school. I used to love that. I remember I ruined my surprise once. My mom was going to surprise me with like cupcakes and everything for my birthday. And me being the planner and loving my birthday, I, as a child, said that I was going to plan my own birthday for school. And I told my teacher, I was like, yeah, I'm going to bring some stuff in. I'm going to do all this. Not knowing that my mom already spoke to my teacher and like had something planned.
oh,
And my
Charlie.
teacher was like, wait, but like you already, like what? And she like low key ruined it, not knowing that, like I had no idea that my mom was already planning to do stuff. Cause like that, like my mom, like, no, she doesn't do it. She is not gonna, after that one birthday, she's like, I'm done.
I'm done.
You
Just
like,
like that.
yeah, like you'll get, oh, trust me, like she'll give me gifts, all the gifts. We'll go out to dinner. The Capitol Grill was like my favorite, and that's why we went there for
Capitol
our
Grill,
first
yes.
anniversary,
Oh my God.
or right after we got married. But yeah, so growing up, I would always go to the Capitol Grill for my birthday to celebrate, and I just loved it. I loved the little dinners with my family, and it was a great time.
Yeah. Oh God, memories.
I know.
Miss it.
I miss it so much.
But yeah, I mean, with the planning definitely come the hurdles, definitely come the hiccups.
And that's why you need to plan in advance. Don't wait
Like you said.
until last minute.
Exactly. The time constraints. Well, mainly like the surprise party part where like you do the whole like surprise. That's the issue with having too many people there. Cause then it's a matter of, like you said, timing, not a matter of like can I actually be there, but like, can you be there by noon, by
Right.
1 o'clock? Like
Yeah.
the surprise is at 1. You can't come after.
Right.
And like, I'm sure you've seen those videos on like Facebook of people who show up to a surprise party not knowing it's a surprise party. And they're just like casually outside waiting, and then they see the person and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" They're like, "Oh,
Oh, yeah.
like, oh yeah, I shouldn't have seen you by now."
Right.
But no, that does happen.
Doing that, hiding the cars.
Hiding the car. Everybody has to park like 3 blocks away, and then
Making
walk
sure you're
through the
not
back
sharing
entrance.
locations with your friends, and
Yes.
they're seeing like, oh, like, why are they here?
That too. I remember my brother when he proposed. They had you remember this? They
Yeah.
had the big surprise upstate, and it was perfect.
And
It
we had
went
to hide
well.
her family. That was funny.
all of us had to hide behind the pool house right when they were proposing.
Well, her family had to hide
Her family had
behind
to,
the pool house.
and my side too.
And
Well,
we were
that was the
we were just
issue.
casually hanging
We were
out.
casually hanging out, but we didn't really know exactly when the moment
Oh,
was going
right,
to be.
right,
So like
yeah.
my cousin and I was changing.
yeah, you guys
My
missed
one cousin was in the bathroom, and then my dad just showed up. He parked, and he was just coming over, and like we all barely saw the surprise.
I know.
We almost missed it, and that's a time where throwing surprise, everything has to be so
The timing.
the
Yeah.
timing is just like, oh
Gotta get
my
that
goodness,
timeline.
like a production, like you need to be on cue with every little thing, and just so that's the only thing about surprises, which is why I'm still waiting for the right moment to surprise you with a big one. But we'll see.
You want to throw me a surprise party? How do you think that would
I
go?
don't even know.
Knowing that
I don't
I'm
even know.
such a huge planner. Like my 30th birthday, I took, I think, 12 people to Mexico, which is wild. We had a blast in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a great time. We all felt like children away for summer camp.
Yep.
That was a blast. But
There was no surprise element with that one.
no, there wasn't
No,
a surprise for that. But I mean, like, that took a whole year of planning. Like, I messaged people a year in advance saying, hey, my birthday's next year. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of going to Mexico. Here's the resort. So I let them know, start looking at flights. Here's the hotel, pay for that. I did everything with the excursions and everything, and just had them Venmo me all of the dinners, had that set up. It was a lot, but it was a whole year in advance of planning.
Yeah.
And last year, for my 31st birthday, it was just a combination of my bachelorette / birthday, and that was fun.
That was fun.
So we all went to Florida, celebrated my bachelorette, celebrated my birthday, and that was just so much fun. All about me. What better way to celebrate your birthday and your batch?
Yeah, you did have a good time.
That was fantastic. And now this year, surprisingly, I'm being chill. We're not doing the whole week birthday. We're not doing the whole weekend birthday. We're just casually going to Nobu on my actual birthday.
Casually.
Nothing big. And then we're going to go to see The Lion King on Broadway. I have an amazing friend, a wonderful dancer who is in The Lion King. And Ian and I have seen her perform over New York City many years. Throughout the years, we've gone to her performances. And now our girl is on Broadway and on The Lion King. Like, that is a dancer's dream. At least that's my dream. So I am so proud of my girl. Her name is Daphne. Shout out to Daphne Lee. But we're going to see her in The Lion King, and I'm so excited. It's my first time seeing The Lion King. It's embarrassing to say that. Like, how could I say that being right here? But yeah, really excited to go to the show. And then after that, we're going to go to a speakeasy.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So it's going to be somewhat of a late night. Not too much, but inviting a few friends, seeing who wants to show up. don't show up. It's not going to be like a big thing this year. Like, I'm just keeping it casual. Come and go if you want. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be nice and chill.
Yeah, it's gonna be very exciting. And Chick BS, we will feed you before we leave.
Yeah.
I know she's over here. That's the only thing she's listening to.
No, it's just like, please, but we'll see. And then for your birthday this year, we are going to DR. And it's also our second wedding anniversary.
Yes.
And
yes.
by second, it's our first wedding anniversary.
Exactly. Yes.
We'll explain more in our next episode about what we mean about that. But yeah, we're excited to go to DR and all inclusive. And
that's our style.
You actually planned your birthday this year.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, like we touched on earlier, we've spent quite a few Memorial Day birthdays with family. I think at one point it was 4 straight. So this is just going to be a way to break that slight routine just this one year. And then for the next 2, we'll see. We'll go back up there for Memorial Day. But we've been talking about doing this, and I feel like it's necessary.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just right. It was between DR or camping, but obviously all-inclusive is more in favor for both of us.
Oh, yeah. And so, I'm so excited to bring our paddle boards so we can be out there just vibing in the water with a drink in our hand. And that's great because we have the little cup holders. So we can keep going in and out, bringing our drinks.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. Just pray there's no sharks. But we'll be good. We'll be good.
It'll be a fun time. So excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's bring it back. And if you are planning your partner's birthday, we've given you a couple of tips on how you can make it successful. So, number 1 tip, and make sure you're writing this down. Plan ahead. All right? You need to plan. You need to plan. Plan.
So you need to plan, if you didn't get that.
Yes.
Okay.
And number 2, actually, I lied. This is number 1. Number 1 is knowing each other's love language. That is number 1. Because that's going to help you plan. It's going to help you know which direction to go into. So number 1, know your love language. Take the test if you haven't. Number 2, plan. And what does that mean? Have your date with your partner and come up with your list. A list of who you would love to celebrate you at a large event. Again, a happy hour, a large party at like a backyard, something big. Or who would you like to have if it's 10 or less, 8 or less, a small group dinner, a small group getaway, whatever it is. And then plan on, do you want to celebrate your birthday with friends, with family, or do you want it just with the 2 of you? You have to know what your partner wants. So communicate. Don't just try to guess. And budget. Yeah, you want to talk about that one?
No, like you said, if you can go big, go big. If you can't, just tone it down a notch.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, once again,
you don't understand
have to his or her love languages.
Bank.
Yeah, you don't need to break the bank. Exactly.
It's the thought that counts.
Love languages, the thought that counts, and just showing up, just showing that you take value, that you care that it's their birthday. And, you might not hit the nail on the head with the first 1 or 2, but, the fact that you tried, the fact that you think outside the box, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Oh, gotta love birthdays.
I know. So we've shared our tips. Now we want to hear from you guys. Let us know about your birthday celebrations with your partner. What do you have planned for them? Is it going to be big, something small? Or tell us about a birthday celebration from the past. What was one of your favorite birthdays that your partner has thrown for you? And where can your partner improve? Where you're like, this was not it. They completely missed it. We want to hear it all. So let us know in the comments. Let us know in our socials as well.
Yes. Please comment, share, post, everything and anything. And yeah, For next week, we'll be talking about our first wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Discussing everything that happened that magical day on March 2nd, 2024.
Wow. I can't believe it's already going to be a year of us being married.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is going to be a good one. It's going to be another special.
Oh,
But
yeah.
without a guest. So tune in next week. Love ya.
Love you guys. Thank you for joining. And happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday.
Every day,